Welcome to the 16th session of Coding Studio Saturdays. And today, what we have for you guys is a very famous problem called the N Queens problem. So, as you might have guessed, the queens here refers to the chess piece, uh, the most powerful chess piece on the board, the queen. And I'll explain the problem shortly. So, we'll go through this step by step. Firstly, we'll see what the N Queens problem actually is. Then we'll discuss a naive approach, that is a very basic solution that somebody might think of. And thirdly, we'll go to a more uh, intelligent solution, a better solution. I mean, it is still brute forcing, but it is a better kind of brute forcing. So we'll explore what that is. Okay, so let's talk about what this problem is, the N Queens problem. So what you see on the screen right now are two solutions to a 4 by 4 N Queens problem. What this means is you have to place N queens on an N by N chessboard. What you see here on the screen are four queens placed on a 4 by 4 chessboard. And the most important condition here is these queens have to be in non-attacking positions. That is, no two queens can threaten each other. All the queens have to be safe from each other, and uh, they have to be n n queens on an n cross n chessboard. So that is the challenge. So for a 4 by 4 chessboard, there are two solutions, and uh, those both are shown here. So we'll explore how we can come up with these configurations. So the problem is this: you are given a number that is n, and your task is to find a solution for placing n queens on an n cross n chessboard. So yeah, this is the problem description. Place n non-attacking queens on an n cross n chessboard. So what would be the naive approach? What would be something that a small child or uh, a very simple approach, what would it be? So what I would do is, if there are n queens to be placed on n squares, I mean n square squares, because there are n square squares on a chessboard, right? So on 8 cross 8 chessboard, there are 64 squares. So, and I have to place 8 queens on 64 squares. So what I would do is, I'll I'll go through all possible ways of placing those n queens, and I'll check if any one of them is valid. So this is the most basic solution, right? Like, check every possibility that we have. I'll place all 8 queens in a single row, one after the other, and obviously that doesn't work. So I'll go to the next type of configuration. Place 7 queens in one row and one queen in any of the other uh, 57 squares. So and so on. There will be so many combinations, right? So I'll check all those combinations, and I'll see if any two queens are attacking each other in each one of them. If any two queens are attacking each other, then that means that combination doesn't work. So I'll go to the next combination, and so on. But the problem here is, obviously, this is very inefficient, and the time complexity for such a solution would be big O of n square cn, because there are n square squares, and for each we are choosing n squares among n square squares. So that means, to choose n among n square, you would need n square cn combinations. So, and for each one of them, you'll again do comparisons to check if queens are attacking each other. So, but we'll think that we are doing those comparisons in constant time. And for that you would get a complexity like this, but that is really bad, right? So we'll explore another way to do this. What what I mean here is not actually the time complexity. This is the number of combinations that you need to check. Big O of n square Cn. Time complexity would be larger than this, but the number of combination itself is so large that you can see that it is very inefficient already. So n square Cn is actually the number of combinations, the number of different board states that you need to check. Okay, so there is a different approach called backtracking. So we'll see what the solution is. And before that, just go back to the problem just to make it clear again. Because before we go to the solution, we need to understand the problem again properly. So yeah, this is the problem, right? We have n square squares, and we're supposed to place queens such that no two of them are threatening each other. Okay, so just in case you don't know how queens work, I'll show you how they work. So yeah, so you see, this is the 4x4 chessboard, and uh, I placed one queen here. Okay, this is our problem right now. Okay, we have 4x4 chessboard. Our job is to place four queens such that they don't attack each other. So what I do is I place queens one by one. First, I place a queen on the top left corner, q1, and then the way queens work, if you don't know, is they attack everything. They attack the row that they are in, and the column, and the diagonal. So q1 attacks this entire row, this column, as well as this diagonal. And because this is at the corner, it only attacks this diagonal, but if it is somewhere in the center, it attacks both the diagonals. This, if q1 was here, then it would attack this diagonal as well as this diagonal, top, bottom, left, and right. So queens are very powerful. And so this is what a solution would look like. So first we place a queen. Before we continue, notice this number here. So this is the number of queens that we placed successfully so far. So here, we can place a single queen anywhere on the board, and nothing will attack it. It will not attack any other queen. So placing a single queen is easy. So what we do is we start from the top left, and we say that, okay, I'll put q1, the first queen, on the top left corner, and there's no problem there. So the number of queens that we successfully placed are 1. What we do next is we have to place the second queen. But where do we start from? So let's say that we are starting from the next position, that is just beside q1. So as you can see, we're just trying to place queens, and we see that q2 cannot be placed here in this square because q1 attacks q2. And we try all possible things like this, all possible squares. So next q2 goes here, next here, it doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, and this works because q2 is not attacking q1, and vice versa. So as you can see, queens, like I said again, if you don't know chess, they attack their diagonals as well as the row and column that they are in. So q2 attacks this diagonal and this diagonal, and q1 attacks this diagonal, and this is a safe place for both of them. So now notice this, the number of queens successfully placed are 2. But our solution would we would get the solution when the number of queens are equal to 4. I mean, the number of successfully placed queens are 4. But right now there is only 2, so we need to continue. Now that 2 queens are successfully placed, we'll go on to try placing a third queen. Okay, so let's go. Let's try that. We try to place q3 here. Obviously, doesn't work because q2 is in the same row. Go next. Doesn't it work? Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. No. Yes. And this position works because no, this this place is not attacked by either Q2 or Q1. You can see this here in this. You see this square, right? The square is not attacked by any either of these. So just place Q3 there. This works. And now the number of queens that successfully got placed are 3. Now what we do is we try to place the fourth queen in the remaining cells. So let's try that. You can't place Q4 here. You can't place Q4 here either. And then yeah, so you you try to place Q4 in all possible squares. I mean, all you cannot place Q4 anywhere earlier. Like you tried placing Q3 in all these places, right? And before that, so you see this, right? We tried placing Q4 everywhere. uh, we did not check the previous cells because we already tried them for Q2 and Q3, and it did not work, so Q3 got this place. And furthermore, we are trying the leftover cells for Q4, but even Q3 is attacking those cells. So we cannot place 4 queens in this configuration. That is, when Q1 is here and Q2 is here and Q3 is here, you cannot place a fourth queen. So what we do is we change the position of Q3 because the last placed queen, successful queen, was Q3. So what we do is we'll try to find another place for Q3 and then try to place Q4. Okay, so let's try that. So we'll remove Q4 now and we'll try to shift Q3 to a different place. This doesn't work for Q3 because Q2 is already here in this column. And this also, this position doesn't work because Q1 is attacking diagonally. And again, as you see, we ran out of places for Q3 as well. So what this means is when Q1 and Q2 are here, there's no other way to place Q3 properly such that Q4 also can be accommodated. That means when Q1 and Q2 are like this, we cannot have 4 queens. Now what do? We remove Q3 and we shift Q2 because Q3 tried every possible cell, but it could not place 4 queens. So that means the problem is with Q2. So we'll go to Q2 now. We'll shift Q2. And now we shifted Q2 and the number of successfully placed queens are 2. So right now we have 2 queens. Now what we do again is the same procedure. We successfully place 2 queens. We try to place the third queen. So obviously we cannot place Q3 here. So we are starting here. So right now I won't show all the steps. I'll show mostly the successful ones. So this configuration works, right? You can place 3 queens like this. So right now there are 3 queens placed. Then try to place the fourth queen. When you try to place the fourth queen, none of these positions work. Like wherever there is Q4, all those positions are attacked by the other queens like Q1, Q2, and Q3. So no matter where you place Q4 in among all these positions, you will not get the solution because all those positions are attacked. So that means that this position of Q2 that we chose, we moved Q2, right? We moved Q2 to this place. So even though we moved it, none of those positions worked. So what we do is we move Q2 again to the next position and so on. That process repeats. So what happens is the story is like this, guys. Q1, initially there's no one on the board. So what happens is Q1 sits at one place and then it asks Q2 to go to any position which it doesn't attack. So Q2 will find a place. There are a lot of places like that. So Q2 will go to the first safe place that it can find. And then whatever remaining places are left, Q3 will try to fit inside. And if Q2 cannot find any place, if Q3 cannot find any place like that, that means that Q2 is in the wrong place. So Q2 will shift one position forward. And then Q3 will try again. So it is like this. The parent is trying to ask their children to fit into the board, If the children cannot fit anywhere, the parent will move one position and then ask their children to try again. If it fails again, then parent will move another position and then the children will try again and so on. So Q1 being the parent, Q2, Q3, Q4 will be the children. Similarly, Q3 will be the child of Q2, Q4 will be the child of Q4, Q3, and so on. So I hope that idea is clear. I'll show you the animation once again. So this is the starting position. We place the all the squares are safe initially. So you can place the first queen anywhere. Next, you try to place Q2 here. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. So on. This place is safe. This place is not safe. And you do this until you find a safe place for Q3. But Q4 you cannot find any safe place. So you shift Q3. And again Q3 cannot find a safe place. So you shift Q2 and the story continues. And this continues until you get a solution in which no queens are attacking each other. And that solution is one of the solutions is this one. And all the queens are happy. So we have 4 queens on a 4x4 chessboard. Okay. So yeah, this is a very happy queen. So these will be the steps. Simply put, place the ith queen at position xy and try to place the I plus 1th queen safely on the rest of the board anywhere. Okay. So if that means I'll try to place q1 on x comma y and and q1 will tell q2 to go somewhere safe in the rest of the board. Okay. If q2 will do the same thing to q3 and q3 will do the same thing to q4. So if q4 or q3 or anyone, let's take q2. Let's say that I is 2. That means I'm trying to place q2 at position xy and q2 will tell q3 to find somewhere safe, someplace safe in the rest of the board. And what will q3 do? Q3 will tell q4 to find someplace safe and the rest of the board. If q4 fails, q3 will move. If it fails again, it will move again until it runs out of every space. So when q3 runs out of every cell, q2 will move. And this process will continue until they succeed. So if placing all the queens fails, then move the ith queen one position to the right or basically the next position. Else return the solution. Okay. So this is the basic idea of n queens problem. Now we can implement it. So we'll go live. We'll start coding now. So before we start coding, uh, keep in mind the steps that I just talked about. So these are the steps, right? Placing the ith queen and trying to place the I plus 1th queen and so on. Note that placing an ith queen is not very different from placing the I plus 1th queen. What that means is, given that a chessboard has some certain number of queens, let's say that a chessboard, I gave you a chessboard, it already has 3 queens on it. Okay, 3 or 4 or 5, whatever. It has some queens, and I'm asking you to place one queen in any place that is safe. Okay, so this problem is not different from placing a queen on a board which has only 2 queens or only one queen. Okay, so this concept, I'll try to make this concept clear through the code itself. So let's start. We'll write the solution in a very clear cut way. We'll define functions and name things properly so that everything is clear. So firstly, we need to know how many, what the value of n is, right? So we'll ask that. Enter the value of n. Okay, and I'll take the value here. Now we'll think that there is a we'll create the chessboard now. Okay, so I'll tell you how we'll represent the chessboard. uh, like what do you think the chessboard should look like? We can this can be anything. Of course we'll need to use a 2 by 2 array, like a matrix, but you can do it like an array of integers, where you can say that uh, empty cell is 0 and a cell having a queen is 1. um, or you can say that this can be a array of strings, where dot means empty and dash means queen. You can do anything, but we can use booleans to make the size very small. Booleans only use 1 bit per element, right? So actually in C++, booleans use 1 byte, because you cannot store 1 bit. But anyway, it's the smallest size that we can have. So we'll create a board, 2 by 2 board of size n by n, and we'll initialize it initially to all false. False means empty, guys. Board of I of j is equal to false. Okay, so this will clear out our entire board and make it empty. So now what we need to do is have a way to display this board, right? So we'll write a function for displaying the board, void display board. This will take in a boolean. You know what, let's just use vectors instead of 2 by 2 matrices. Can use a vector of vectors. It will be a vector of pools. Okay, so I'll just change the code a little bit. So for each I, we'll need to push back a vector, that is, we'll push one row. So initially, this is like initially we don't have anything. Our board is nothing. You don't see anything. We'll have to build our board one by one. So first we'll add one row. So the way we do that is board dot pushback. We'll push back an empty vector. Okay, and this will have one row, right? So it will be n elements. So what we're doing is we are pushing n rows, each of n columns. Each of them has n elements. So n rows of n elements, and we'll just initialize each one of these to false. Actually, you can do all of this here only. You can just say false here. This will initialize it. You don't need this for loop. This will work. Okay, so this will create an empty board, and we'll complete this function here, display board. So display board will take a vector of vectors, that is our board, and it will display it here. So we'll just display a space for an empty cell, and we'll put a q for a queen. Okay, so for row in board, sorry, for element in row. This is just nested syntax, guys. You can write ij loops just as normal, but this is another way to do it. So for each row, we are going through each element, and if that element is true, uh, it means there is a queen there. So we'll say queen, we'll put a q, else we'll put a empty space. Okay. And so once you print an entire row, we need to go to the next line, right? So I'll do that. Okay, so after you print an entire row, go to the next line. And between these cells also we'll add some separation. So we'll do this. We'll add a bar. I'll show you what this looks like. So this is an empty board right now, right? Let's see what it will look like. 1 second. Okay. So we'll print our empty board once just to see how this function works. Okay. Let's run this. Let me make it a little larger. So let's have a 7 by or 6 by 6 board. So yeah, this is what our board looks like. There are 6 rows and 6 columns. And of course, everything is empty right now because everything is false. But if you have some queens in it, they'll show up as Q. Okay, so this is how the display board function works. And we don't need it right now. So we'll remove this line. Okay, now let's write a function called solution. Okay, so what we'll do right now is uh, we'll say int solution is equal to, we're writing an imaginary function called I don't know, solve n queens. Okay, we are writing an imaginary function to which if you give an empty board, it will give you the solution. Okay, or it will tell you that it is not possible. So we'll imagine that such a function exists, and what we'll say is solve n queens. So first let's place, how many queens do we want to place? We want to place n queens. And which board? This board. Okay, so there are we wanted to place n queens on this board. So this will give us a solution, and if solution double equal to -1, that means we'll say that if it is not possible to place n queens, then it will return -1. For example, um, like it won't happen here, but um, in special cases like on a 2 by 2 board, it is impossible to place 2 queens. Do you get it? Like if you only have 4 cells, like in a 2 by 2 chessboard, it is not possible to place 2 queens because any position the both of the queens will attack each other. So in that case, we'll simply say that impossible, else the solution is, what should we do now? We'll print the board. The function found a correct solution, and our job is to print the board now to see what the solution is. Display board. Okay, fine. Now it is time to write this solve n queens function. So let's do that. Solve n queens returns an integer. It returns 0 on success and -1 on failure. So solve n queens int n, and it will take a vector of vectors. Okay, and we'll also need one more thing. Okay, never mind. So what is the answer if n is 0? Like if n is 0, that means I don't want you to place any queen. I gave you a board, don't place any queen. Is that possible? Is that case possible? Like, is there any problem with it? Can somebody just type in the chat box? Like, what should I do if somebody asks me to place only 0 queens on the board? Can I do it or can I not do it? Okay. So I can do it, right? Because placing 0 queens is easy thing, is an easy thing. I don't have to do anything. So if n is double equal to 0, return 0. Okay. Else, if n is not 0, that means I have some number of queens to be placed on this board. Now, how do I place them? Like this. Okay. For now, what I'm doing is, let's go back to the presentation once. So do you see what is happening to Q2? Let's go to the position where Q2 got placed correctly. So this place. Before we were trying Q2, but we found a correct place for Q2. And what were we doing with Q2? We were trying all possible cells, right? And once we found a safe place, we moved on to finding a place for Q3. So it is a simple for loop here. I'm going to every cell from top to down and checking if that cell is safe. If that cell is safe, I'm placing a queen and asking to place another queen. So that's what we'll do. Let's write down the steps here. For all cells, check if cell is safe. If safe, place queen and solve. And okay, um, this is an important question. Let's go back to the first place here. So here our problem is to place how many queens? Our problem is to place 4 queens now here. Okay, and we've successfully placed 1 queen. Now our problem becomes, how do I place 3 queens? Not how do I place 4 queens, because I already placed 1 queen here, right? So I don't have to bother about that queen. And this is where recursion comes in, because placing, like I said, placing 3 queens on a board is similar to placing 4 queens on this board. The obstacles may be there, but it's not a different problem. It is the same problem. So this is an important point to realize, and this is why we use recursion and backtracking here. So let's go back here. Here we found that at this position, we found that there's no place for Q4. So this means I was unable to place 4 queens. And what am I doing? I'm moving Q3 and going to the next place. Okay, 1 second, guys. Sridhar, did you raise your hand? Do you have anything to ask? Okay. If you have anything, just feel free to unmute yourself. Okay. So place queen. So this function is being asked to place n queens, and if we found one safe place, we place a queen there, and now we ask it to place n minus 1 queens. Solve n queens of n minus 1 board. Okay. So this is what we'll do. Time to write the code for this. Also, we'll choose one starting position. Uh, why? Because see, for Q1 we started from the first cell, that is understandable. For Q1 we are starting from the top left because it's already safe. We know that an empty board is safe anyway. Uh, but we cannot assume that for Q2, right? We are not starting Q2 from the starting position. We are starting it from the next position of Q1 because it's a waste to calculate to check all the previous cells. So we'll also give solve and queens an initial position, int init x, int init y. So the initial xy positions. Okay. So our for loop will start from there. Int I is equal to init x, I less than board dot length. I mean board dot size. Board dot size will give me the number of rows. It does not give me n square. It will give me n because this is a vector of vectors, and board has n vectors. So board dot size will give me how many vectors are inside board. And inside j, j will also start from init y. Okay, and j will be less than or equal to board of 0 dot size. Shit. Okay. So now board of 0 dot size will also be n anyway. Okay. Uh, the reason I'm not using n directly here is because n will keep changing. Because if I found a place for one queen, I'll call the next one with n minus 1, not with say the same n. But uh, what I want here is to go through all the rows and all the columns. That is the limit of the number of rows and number of columns. So I'm specifying board dot size and board of 0 dot size. But the what this means is n here. Like if it is a 4 by 4 board, this will be 4, and this will also be 4. Okay. Because each vector inside board is also n, and board has n vectors. Okay. So now if board of, okay, uh, what is this for loop doing? This nested for loop, it is going through each of these squares, right? From Q2 you're starting here, going left, I mean going left to right, top to bottom. And what are you doing for each cell? You're checking if it is safe. So we need a function for that, is safe. So again, this is an imaginary function. We did not write it yet. So we'll ask this function called is safe. We'll send it the board condition right now, and the current position. And this function is supposed to tell me if this particular cell at I comma j is safe or not. If it is safe, then what should I do? If it is not safe, what should I do? If it is not safe, I should just move on, right? Go to the next cell. So go to the next cell. If it is safe, what should I do? I should simply place the queen there. So queen is placed. That means board of ij becomes true, placing the queen. Next, what do? I ask solve n queens to place n minus 1 queens because I already placed one queen now. So solve, and it will return me a solution. Solve. Okay. We'll see if it is possible or not. So we'll just ask solve n queens, n minus 1 board. The current position will be, okay, we'll write this next x, next y. So next x and next y are the position from which the search has to continue. For example, here we successfully placed Q2 at this position, right? So my search for Q3 has to start from the next cell. this cell to the right of Q2. But if Q2 was here, then the next cell would be in the next row, first column. So next x and next y are those variables which give you the next position from where you should start the search. So next x will simply be the same row if the column, okay, let me explain this. If we are not in the last column, then the next column, I mean the next y will simply be column plus 1. For example, Q2 is not in the last column, it is just in the third column in this place. So Q3's column will just be 3 plus 1, that is the fourth column. But if Q2 is in the last column, then Q3's column will be 0 because it will go to the next row starting position. So that's what I'm writing here. If j is double equal to uh, board dot size minus 1, that is if it is in the last position, then okay, this is next y. Next y will be zero. Or if it is not that case, then next y will be j plus 1. Okay. Similarly, what will the next row be? So if Q3 is not in the last column, next row will be the same row as Q2. But if Q2 is in the last column, the next row will be row plus 1 because Q3 will go to the next row, first column. So next x is equal to, again we need to check this condition, board dot size minus 1. Then if it is in the last column, then the next x will be I plus 1, or else it will just be I. Okay. Okay, let me just put this in parentheses. Okay. Okay. So I hope this piece was clear. I'm just uh, assigning the next position for searching. Next x, comma next y. Okay. Now, so let me tell you the story so far. We called solve n queens. So let's take a 7 by 7 chessboard. Okay. I'm telling solve n queens to place 7 queens. It found a safe place for the first queen, and it is asking a child to place 6 queens because one queen is already placed, and it is asking the child to place 6 queens. But if it is not possible, what will the child do? It will simply return -1, right? So if solution is double equal to -1, that means placing the 6 queens is not possible with the current configuration. What will we do? We'll remove this queen from the current place. First step is remove current queen from the current place. So how do we do that? Board of I of j is equal to false. It was true before, so I have to make it false and move it to one position to the right. That will happen anyway because this for loop is there, no? It will just go to the next position. So if solution is false, then do this. If just a second, are my parentheses all correct? Okay, 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 guys. Slightly got confused with the parentheses. Okay, so if my solution is not -1, that means with my current position, the child was able to place n minus queens correctly. That means I found a solution to the problem, right? I found a solution to the whole problem. So what will I do? I'll just simply return 0. Found a solution. Okay. Uh, I'm not moving the queen here because this for loop will move forward anyway. Okay. So I don't have to move it here. It'll just check if the board is safe or not. Is uh, is the solution clear so far? There's nothing much to it. And this else case is empty. Go to the next cell will happen automatically. I don't have to write this. Let me check. Is everyone clear with this solution so far? Yeah, I mean, we still have some function to write. This is save function. We'll write it, but the solution should be clear so far, like whatever we did till now. Can somebody say yes or no in the chat box? Say yes if it is clear. Okay, thanks, Naidu. It's okay. Thanks, Revant. Okay. Uh, okay, now it is time to write the isSave function. So what does isSave do? It will return a true or false. If the cell is safe, it will say true. If it is not safe, it will say false. So what will isSave say? I mean, what will it take? It takes the board and it also takes the position x, y. Okay, and its job is to tell if board of xy is safe or not. How do we do this? So first of all, there should be no queen in row x. Second, there should be no queen in column y. Third, no queen in diagonal 1 of xy. And fourth, no queen in diagonal 2 of xy. Let me explain what I mean. So you see this, right? This diagram. Q2 is attacking this row, the second row, the third column, and it's attacking two diagonals. This is one diagonal. What I'm hovering my cursor over is the first diagonal, and the second diagonal is this one, bottom left to top right, and the other diagonal is top left to bottom right. So we have two diagonals to check, and the column and the row. Now we can write a for loop to check all of these. We can write for loops for all of these, but we can do something better. For loop will take a lot of time. I mean, if I want to check this column, what will I do? I'll check all the cells in this column one by one using a for loop. So if there are 7 cells in a column, it'll take 7 units of time. And if there are 7 cells in a row, it'll take 7 units of time to check that row. Instead, what we can do is we can simply have an array. And for example, if we have 4 rows, if there is a queen in the first row, what I'll do is in this array, in the first position, I'll make it true. Okay. So what that will do is, what that means is the first row is attacked. So it will clearly tell me that I cannot place any queen there. And similarly, if the third position in that array is 1, it means the entire third row is attacked and I cannot place a queen there. Similarly, I can do the same for columns. So if the first position of the column is true, that means there is a queen in first column. Fourth, if the fourth position is true, then there is a queen in the fourth column. So we'll create an array here called attacking. Attacking rows. Okay, wait, we'll do this after we take the input. Okay, we took it already, right? Okay, fine. Okay, so attacking rows, this will be n, there'll be n cells, and all of them will be false first because no row is attacked. Similarly, there'll be attacking columns, and there'll be n columns. All of them will initially not be attacked. We cannot do the same for diagonals. I mean, we can do diagonals like this, but it's not like the most easiest solution. Uh, like finding given a cell, which diagonal is it, determining which diagonal it attacks. We have a little bit of calculation to do. So to check diagonals, I'll simply use for loops, but for rows and columns, we can skip that calculation. Okay. So when I place a queen, when I place a queen here, I place the queen here, right? I will also say that that particular row, attacking rows, is attacked. So now this queen occupies that entire row and that entire column. And when I remove that queen, I should uh, also clear that row. So attacking rows of I will be false. Attacking columns of J will be false. Okay. So when we enable a queen, we do this. When we disable a queen, we do this. And this function, we need to send these attacking row and attacking columns vectors to this function as well. So we'll do that here. Vector bool attacking rows, attacking calls. Okay. So these are two extra things that we sent this solvent queens function, and we need to change it here as well. Attacking rows, attacking calls. Okay. Is everything clear so far? Where this problem is like the code for this problem is a little okay. Uh, can somebody say yes, no? Yes or no? Is everything clear so far? The attacking rows and attacking columns are just indicators. Awesome. Okay, guys, let's move forward. So now, how do I check if a row is attacked? I also need to send it this esafe function should get this vector, attacking rows and attacking columns vector. So attacking rows, attacking calls. Okay, how do I check if the row is attacked or not? If attacking rows of x, if the xth row is attacked, then it will be true, right? So if it is attacked, then I'll simply say return false, because if that row is not safe, then how can that cell be safe? Similarly with the column, if that column is not safe, if the white column is not safe, then we cannot say that that cell is safe, right? So we'll say return false again. Now it is time to check the diagonals. Checking diagonals is easy, but we need to write for loops for this. So what do we do? So current x. Okay, the logic for checking diagonals is like this. So what is q2's position here? Q2's position here. Okay, let's say that rows are 0, 1, 2, 3. Columns are also 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 0 columns, 1 column, 2 column, 3 column. And similarly 0 row, 1 row, 2 row, 3 row. And Q2's position is first row, I mean row 1, column 2. That is Q2's position. So let me just put a text box here. White, bold. Okay. So position is what? It is Q2's position. Q2 is at 1 comma 2. And what are the cells to the top left? There are 4 directions for the diagonals. One is to top left, one is to top right. So let's go top left. How do you go to top left? Top left, what you do is one is to go to the top. So what going top is decreasing one row. What that means is, what will this become? Row will become -1, column will also become -1. Okay. Top left means decrement row, decrement column. What does top right mean? Can somebody tell me what top right means? Like, how do I go to top right? Top left is you decrease one row, you decrease one column, you go, you do that again and again, and that will be your top left diagonal. What do I do for top right? Like this diagonal. How do I go to this cell? If this is 1 comma 2, what will this cell be? Is the column increasing or decreasing? First thing is we are going top. So that means row has to decrease. Decrement row. And we are going right. So as you go right, do columns increase or decrease? Columns increase, right? So increment column. Similarly, bottom left. What do you do for bottom left? As you go to bottom, number of rows, I mean the row number is increasing. So increment row. And as you go to the left, column number is decreasing. So column decrement. And bottom right. Okay, bottom right, you guys tell me. Somebody send me a DM or put a message here. How do I go to bottom right? Should rows increment or decrement? What happens to the rows as we exactly? So Rahul says we should increment both. We should increment rows as well as columns. Excellent. So this is what we'll write. The logic will be like this. So initially our current position, current x will be x only, and current y will be y. Okay. While let's go top left first. Top left. That is top left, this thing. So going top left. How do you go top left? Not for loop. Let's use a while loop. So as you go top left, what are we doing? Forget the condition inside while. First we'll check uh, what we'll do. How do we update top left? You are going up, so row numbers will decrease. So current x minus minus, and you're going left, so columns will also decrease. So current y minus minus. And how do you check if that particular cell is? This is the update thing. This is how you update your position. And what is the checking? So if board of current x, current y is true, that means there is a queen there. Or you can do one more thing. You can check that column and row. If rows of current x sorry, attacking rows, right? Attacking rows. Okay, wait, this would be wrong, I guess. Okay, let's do this directly. Board of current x, current y. If board of current x, current y is true, that means there is a queen there. So in this top left diagonal, there is a queen. So we cannot do anything. So just return false. That cell is not safe. And what will be the condition here? Like, where does this top left diagonal end? What should be the condition? Like, either you hit the first row or you hit the first column, right? What I mean is, let's go to some other diagram. Okay, this diagram. So I'll make an arrow. So let's say this. If I'm at this position, I'm going top left like this. Uh, so in this case, my top left will end here at the first column. Or one more thing can happen. Like, I'm not at this cell, but I'm at this cell. I'm at Q2. So if I'm at Q2, when I'm going top left, I'll hit the first row. So then I should stop. So the condition is like this. When current X greater than 0, sorry, greater than or equal to 0, and current Y greater than or equal to 0. Okay. So this is our ending current condition for top left. If we either reach the first row or if we reach the first column, we should stop our search for the top left diagonal. Is this clear? The condition to check for checking. Can you guys say yes, no, anything? Great. Thanks, man. Okay, guys. So this is for top left. Say the loop won't be very different for the other directions. What are the other directions? Going top right, going bottom left, going bottom right. Okay, I'll just copy this while loop here. Okay. The update condition is just is different. That's all for all these. Okay. So when I go top right, I'm going top right. So I'm going top. So rows will decrease, but columns should increase because I'm going right. And the stop condition is different. Columns rows is decrementing, so it should be greater than or equal to 0, but y is incrementing, so it should be less than or equal to, like, this arrow. It can be like this. Like, this arrow will hit the last column or it can hit the top row. So uh, top row is greater than or equal to 0. Last column is current y less than or equal to board dot size. Board dot size is this 4. For this example, board dot size is 4. And you are going bottom. So this is done for top right. For bottom left, we are going bottom. So rows will increase. We are going left. So column should decrease. And what will be the condition? For rows are incrementing. So it should be less than or equal to. Less than or equal to board dot size. Current wise decreasing. So greater than or equal to is fine. Bottom right. We are going bottom. So rows should increase. We are going right. So column should also increase. And both of these will be less than or equal to board dot size. Oof. I keep pressing the page down button accidentally. So that's why you see those sudden shifts. Okay. Okay, this is our code for checking all the diagonals. There's one thing, there's a small problem here. Can somebody tell me what that problem is? Think about what happens after this first loop ends and I go to the second loop. Do you see the problem? Look at it once. Take 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 30 seconds. Tell me if you see the problem here. Let's say that nothing happens in the first while loop, like everything is safe in top left. So next I'm going to top right. But before going to top right, I should do something. What am I not doing? Exactly. Correct, Rahul. So current x and current y value should be reset, right? So before going to top right, I should come back to the first position and then go to top right. I checked everything in top left, nothing, there's no queen. So I should come back, then go to top right. So we need to update all the values. I mean, update current x and current y. And this we need to do for all these directions. Okay, guys. Yeah. So we checked everything so far. We checked rows, columns, we checked the diagonals, all four directions. And if any one of these failed, then it would return from here, right? If row failed, false. Column failed, false. Top left failed, false. So if any one of these failed, it would return false. But if we came to this position, we came to line number 62, that means everything passed. There is no queen in a column, row, or diagonal. So what do? Just return true. This cell is safe. Okay. So this is our is safe function. And we are 97% done. One more thing is left. Can somebody tell me what is left here? Like ESF function is completed, but one small thing is left in solve n queens. What is it? Can somebody tell me? I think you should be able to tell it by looking at this for loop here. We are checking everything, but we found a solution, but there's one case left. What is that case? Think about the solution and tell me. Success solution is there, but there is one more thing left. One small thing is left to add to this function and our solution will be complete. Okay. um are you guys done? Should I tell you? Okay. uh so the answer is this. We are returning 0 when we find a solution, but what about when we don't find a solution? That is, we this I loop, j loop searched every cell, but they did not find any safe place. Okay, what do we do then? We should return -1. Okay, so because solve n queens can be a child to some parent, and if this child doesn't find any safe places for itself, then what should it do? It should say -1. Sorry parent, I did not find any safe place, so you have to move. So that's what we'll do here. Return -1. Sad story. Anyway, like I don't need this else here, because if condition passes, then it will return. If it doesn't pass, then it will go here. I'll remove this brackets. If it finds a solution in between, then return 0 will happen. If it does not find any solution, return -1 will happen, because it will come out and it will return -1. Okay, I believe that our solution is complete. There may be some mistakes. Do you want me to run this? Do you guys find anything missing? Should we run it? Say yes or no, please. Okay, let's run it. Nice. I almost felt like it punched me in my face. Expected semicolon, line number 73. 73. Okay, this is a comma. Next is, okay, let's try this again. Too few arguments. 77. Acha. Attacking rows. Attacking columns. Okay, anything else? Line number, too few arguments. 87. Okay, again. Attacking rows. Attacking columns. We missed these arguments in this recursive call. Cannot convert vector to int. Okay. Line number 120. We forgot to give it the starting position. The third and fourth arguments are integers. The first position, int x, int y, init x and init y. So what will be the first position for like for the first queen on the fresh chessboard? What will be the first position? Can somebody tell me? Where should I start the solution from? The first position. What should I pass, init x and init y? Put it in the chat, guys. Like, where is q1 here? The first queen. Where is it starting from? Exactly, 0, 0. So we start our search from 0, 0 with n queens. So 0, 0. Okay. So let me clear the terminal once. Enter the value of n. So let's take 4, like just to match it with this example. Nice. Segmentation fault. Why is this? Okay. The problem is less than or equal to. Our board has 0 to 3. Like if it is 4 by 4, it goes to 0 to 3, not 0 to 4. So wherever we have board dot size, we need to remove equal to. Because if we don't remove equal to, it will go to this if condition, board of current x, current y, and those values will be too large, and it will give segmentation fault there. Okay, one more thing. This has to change. This has to be a reference. Why it has to be a reference is, see, the main function is calling solve n queens, and it is sending the board. And when we find a solution, that board should have the solution that this function found. If we simply copy this board, then it will change in this function, but it won't change in main. So we pass board as a reference. So to pass it as a reference, we use and here, and board. And similarly, attacking rows and attacking columns also. This is very important. If you don't do this as a reference, then there's no use. And similarly here as well. We'll just take references. This will even make the program a little faster because copying is avoided. Let's try it now. 4. Yes. Okay. Let me show it properly. I'll enlarge this. Okay. Uh, yeah. So enter value of 4. I entered 4 and it gave me the solution. So do you see this? This is a solution to our problem. I mean, this is one of the solutions. It finds the first solution that it gets. So this is similar to this solution. Oof. Let me see. Yeah, this solution. You see this? Q, 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 Q. That position is the same as this in the slide. Okay. Congratulations to all of you for finding this solution. Let's try another value of n. Do you remember I said that it should not work for 2 by 2 because it is not possible to place two queens which are not attacking each other in a 2 by 2 board. So let's try and give it 2. Yeah, it tells us that it is not possible, impossible. And let's try it with 3 by 3. 3 by 3 is also impossible. And how about 1 by 1? 1 by 1 is obviously possible because one cell you can place one queen and no problem there. Let's try something bigger, like try 10. Yeah, so pretty solutions. 5 queens and 5 queens. I'm just curious. I want to try 20. Okay, this will take too long. You guys can figure out the time complexity for this because see, time complexity does not exist for a problem, it exists for the solution. And time complexity depends on how you implement a solution. So our implementations, time complexity may be different from somebody else's because it depends on how they implement it. We tried to make it as efficient as possible by using this array here, attacking rows, attacking columns. It decreases a little bit of time complexity, but again, we are using for loops here, so doesn't make it very better. I mean, for while loops. If even checking diagonals was, we did it using an array, then checking is safe would be much faster. So that would make it even more efficient. So yeah, basically what I want to say is time complexity depends on how you implement it. Just like Prim's algorithm, if you know Prim's algorithm. So Prim's algorithm is dependent on how you, like which data structures you use and how you implement it. So this is what is we have for you today, guys. The n-queens problem. So if you want, I'll post this solution in the Discord channel after this meet ends. And okay, guys, I think the session has been long enough. Thanks for coming. The recording and all will be posted on YouTube. So stay tuned for further sessions. We have more interesting algorithms and stuff coming up for you guys. So yeah, thanks everyone. Let me end the session now.